Well, it's All Stars here in Las Vegas. Of course, this coverage is brought to you by Alienware, but I'm joined right now by Rick Fox in a bit of a separate situation from the arena to just catch up and find out how you've been doing, especially over these past couple of months. First off, what brings you out to All Stars?
Well, we outside of the celebration of this time of year, which is always so fun, second time here in Vegas. It's a fun time here. That's why I sound the way I sound. But it was also an opportunity to have a 24-hour stream in support of the Bahamas Relief Foundation efforts. After Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas devastated our country, everyone has been all hands on deck. And as a fellow Bahamian, I've been doing my part to try and figure out how to add a little more recovery and rebuild of our country and the islands that have been destroyed. So, you know our esports community. Thank you very much for even showing up and giving us some of your time.
Of course.
You know, the charity raise just started to climb when you showed up. We talked about a lot of really positive things, and this community has the power amongst itself to really make a lot of change for good.
Well, and I know that the charity drive is still going.
Yes.
But I saw by the end of your 24 hours, you guys had broke 60K, I believe.
Yes, we did. We had a goal of 100K, which we're going to still fight to get to that goal. But done 62, I think it was, in 24 hours. The Ride Impact Fund, Social Impact Fund contributed. A lot of amazing people. Hacks, the merch company, contributed in a big way. And so we had great guests, yourself, Faker, Tyler One, Mo, Players Golden Glue, Streamcasters, you know, Captain Flowers and Azael. And so I'm so grateful. Kyle, my son, was there keeping me honest when I was falling asleep in terms of my play. Was dipping, and then the community showed up in droves, and I'm so grateful.
And your first 24-hour stream, I feel like.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, if you weren't part of the League of Legends community doing the 24-hour stream, that's is very indicative of your involvement now. Yeah, I feel like that's a classic.
That was one to remember, and now I know how to do it next time better.
Yeah, well, and we were talking on stream about Faker coming in, and you had mentioned that, and this is crazy to me because you've met a lot of famous people in your life, but you had a little bit of nervousness.
Yeah, it was nervous because you can meet say a famous athlete and pro or a celebrity, but when you have an opportunity to actually act with them or play with them, and they're the best at what they do or one of the best at what they do. I'm not there in any way close to what he does, so I was excited to meet him and to play with him. I was grateful at the same time, but here we were, duo solo queuing for a ranked game. He's never been a bronze guy, apparently, and here I am just making it to bronze. So we had fun. I don't know how much fun it was for him. He did have, I think, some close to 40 kills.
Yeah.
But there were some memeable moments in our game that I laughed at, but I found myself just kind of watching him instead of really focusing on helping him.
I remember you mentioned he was making calls for Baron, and you were you weren't sure nobody else was going.
Well, I am the one person I think that will call a Baron at like 19 minutes and 59 seconds just because it's up, right? But when Faker calls Baron, you go, right? I had apparently my pings were turned off, so I didn't hear it. Is what I'm gonna go with.
Sure. The classic excuse.
The other two guys, because one AFK'd because he didn't believe it was Faker in America was his account name. So he was just like, yeah, sure, Faker's in America. It was All-Star Weekend, of course he's here, right? And so the other two guys just didn't move. And Faker headed over there after, like, I think maybe having a triple kill. He headed over there and ping, 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 and no one came. So he clicked his screen to the other guy, like, zoomed in on him. It's like, are you coming?
Yeah.
In a real subtle way, you know?
Poor Faker experiencing the classic in a solo queue. In North America, it's rough. So, I mean, regardless, I think it's really cool. Oh, by the way, where can people find out about the charity?
Yes, so you can go to BahamasReliefFoundation.org. It's a long name, I'm sorry. BahamasReliefFoundation.org, and you can learn everything about it there, as well as contribute to a donation and help us get to 100,000.
And we'll put a link in the description of the video for people who want to check that out. Other than that, though, I mean, I'm kind of curious also on just checking up on you, because obviously the past couple of months have been insane. A lot of public conversation. And I don't think we need to get into the weeds of all the exact stuff that went down, but
unless we really get into the weeds. And I don't really smoke. I don't smoke, so because that's what it would take.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, maybe the Joe Rogan podcast, you can do that. Okay, I think that's his thing. But I do want to just check in on how you're doing personally after all that stuff went down, and also just seeing you back at a League of Legends event. I think it's really exciting.
Oh, it's healing. It's definitely healing. If you've followed, as so many of you have, because I've received so much love and support from you guys in the community that have had faith in what this was about for me and my family from the beginning. None of that changed. Took on partners as you do in business and life, and then quite frankly, morals and ethics didn't align at a certain point. Money tends to do that to a lot of people. It changes a lot of people, and the impact of that affected everyone associated with the organization. And the thing that I've learned from this is it's one thing to be in the trenches as I was from the beginning in an aggressive fashion, both building the franchise, funding the franchise, doing everything that has been written that I may not have been doing, and then everything later on that I was accused of doing that I wasn't doing. And so, all of that stuff is noise. It's a lot of unnecessary noise and confusing for the media like yourself that are trying to find the truth, and also understanding that the community wants to just know what happened. And what happened was bad business was done by a lot of people. And it's unfortunate, and I have to take responsibility for my choice of partners, which I've learned a life lesson in from that, but it hasn't in any way deterred my love for esports, my love for the game, my love for the fan and community base, and it's why I'm still here. It's why I'll continue to move forward and be in esports, and especially in the League of Legends community.
Well, and I know it's been reported, but I'd like to just confirm everything is done now. You're able to move on. Everything's wrapped up.
So I obviously, if you've read, aggressively. I'm a competitive person, but I'm also a fighter, especially when justice is needing to be served or handled appropriately. And I took it as far as filing a lawsuit, and it was an aggressive, well-documented lawsuit with a lot of facts. And I think that was a little threatening and upsetting for my former partners that did not want that to continue on. So we were able. They chased down a settlement agreement, and really I would have fought to the end of the earth because it's what I do, but I had a lot of people around me that love me and care about me that are being affected by, and were being affected by this protracted fight, and it was in, I think, the best interest of everyone around me that I care about, that they could put it behind them as well. So I settled with them, and we just parted ways and agreed to just let it be what it would be. And the brand and the IP is in good hands. It's not in my hands, and it's not in their hands.
Yeah. Well, I do want to ask you, because we talked about this a little bit on the stream, you mentioned there's no, odd feelings between you and now looking at Evil Geniuses coming in the spot that you had previously.
Not at all. They got caught in a really, you could not have scripted this. We're creating a scripted show now for CBS, but you couldn't have scripted this. This is the situation Evil Genius found himself in. Is here you have an organization that's been in esports for decades. Decades maybe? Close to decades.
Quite some time. Yeah,
quite some time. So they're a staple in the community, and well-funded and and greatly managed. So their interest in just the community at all is respected, and then wanting to then eventually step into league. And this opportunity presented them that chance to really get in there. And the first time around, they came in at the last minute, and it was a little too short, and the bankers really didn't really respect their interest, and I fought for the bankers to respect their interest, because even though they came in at the 12th hour, they still were credible people. And so, unfortunately, the interest of some others in the party had a strong desire to see it go one way, which eventually it ended up going to the Kroenke Group, which did not follow through. Didn't follow through. The issues that popped up there that I thought may have popped up and would have popped up, and that's why I voiced that I had concerns about that transaction. It ended up being that way, and then the second go around, Evil Geniuses had a fair shot.
Yeah.
Like, they got in there from the jump, because I called them personally. I called back to Shapiro Group. I called everyone that had been at the table the first time and said, hey, look, here's an opportunity. We have 72 hours. please just submit your best offer. And what we did was I tried to keep an even playing field for everyone. I set the parameters with which the process was going to be run, and they all respected it. And at the same time, though, Evil Geniuses was aggressive and serious about this being their chance to get into league, and I love that. I love that for them because they succeeded in that.
And I know that Riot was kind of working on this as well, and I think that managing sort of how everything went down at the very end. Were you involved in those discussions with Riot?
No, I had to be completely hands off. We stepped out, and that was something that under my management finally. So people think that I've managed and run Echo Fox solely for 5 years. It's not the case. I had partners the whole time up until up until November of this year. I was the sole manager for the first time. So I had to step in and basically, for the first time, kind of police the whole situation with a bunch of people who had agendas. And the agenda was, we want to sell and get our money. And, and I was like, well, you guys know how I feel about the company and how I feel about esports. I don't necessarily want to go anywhere.
Right.
So, but I had to manage all those expectations, and because we couldn't work amongst ourselves to get to a agreeable decision, Riot so graciously, and I'm glad they did, because they were probably the best people to handle this process, agreed to sell it for us, and we all agreed to sign to step out of the way and let them do what was best for the league, for the other owners, for the community of League of Legends, and I wanted that first and foremost. So I was okay with Riot really stepping in and handling. Chris really did a great job and got it in the hands of the right people.
Yeah. Well, I also want to just ask you about your continuing involvement, right? Because I think the community was really worried that they would not see you in League of Legends anymore, that this would maybe leave a bitter taste in your mouth, or that you would just not have a reason to stick around. But here you are at All-Stars, and we were talking again a little bit on the stream. Yeah. You want to continue to be involved.
Yeah, no, this has been a great experience for me, and I would think a lot of people that did not know about this community and did not know about esports that have maybe come to it through me. It's been a blessing to be involved, and if anything, through all of this turmoil, I got to really truly experience the power of this community and its support. And for that, if anything, my love for it just grew tenfold. And so why would you leave a loving place? Why would you run away from something that supported you so strongly, even amidst all the lies and confusion? They just really stood by me, and I appreciate that. So I just look now for ways to still celebrate the game, celebrate the teams and players that I love. I no longer have a single loyalty. I get to, as you see, T1 showed a lot of love on the stream, and Faker and T1 and Joe were the first ones to really show up for us on the Bombers Relief 24-hour stream, and they actually sent some pretty cool gear. So I'm thanking them by wearing it.
Yeah. Well, what levels are you looking at staying involved in the league at this point in time? Are you looking again at team ownership or being involved with an organization, or would you get involved in other ways?
I'm starting to move into that after I've kind of released all that negativity, and I'm starting to find the joy again. Like the last weekend has been great. I'm starting to think about that. That's why I kind of asked you some of those questions, like what advice can I find from those in the community that I respect that think, here's Rick starting from ground zero again. Ownership was amazing. Who doesn't want to own a team in League of Legends? I know what that feels like. I know what that's like. Building something like that again with a clear understanding of the traps and pitfalls that are out there would be, I think, a nice way to focus my next year or two until maybe there is a franchising opportunity to go after. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people looking for that position as well. But outside of that, I play the game. I'm on my climb. I'm literally, seriously, through that, learning the game at a deeper level than I ever thought I would learn. And that's been really, really fun. And then, again, the gaming community and the esports community of League, maybe I should do some more streaming. People are wanting to follow the climb, and maybe I'll do some of that as well.
Well, and yeah, that's what I was going to ask, is I'm sure you gained a ton of followers on your stream
I think so,
during that 24-hour period, so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are hoping to see more of that.
Yeah, we had fun. I like and I found this out through you and I just talking. I like the interactivity of just talking to the community as well. And it's easy talking to you, so we had a good esports conversation. Playing with fans as well. Like Trick 2G dropped in and helped me get 2 critical wins to get to promotions. He's pretty good at what he does in that top lane with that champion. But yeah, I play every night anyway, so maybe I should just click on the stream and have fun with the community.
What is it about League of Legends that gets you so committed to play so much? Because in the beginning, I think a lot of people probably looked at this and they're like, well, he's playing, but we've seen a lot of celebrities come in before and they play a little bit. But I remember Kyle on Reddit making a post just talking about how you just love competition so much that this is just another form of that for you.
Yeah, and it's on such a deep level. It's so many layers. I mean, it's chess and it's mental, it's physical, it's it's emotional. And for me, it wasn't until I really, through all of the stress the last year, starting in January, I dove into the game at night as to relax, and in this way I'd never done it that way. I'd always played to try and understand, strategically how we could be better at Echo Fox. And in this case, it was just I just want to get away and play the game, and I just started to have fun. I started to really enjoy the climb, and I started to really enjoy and I started to see what people were talking. My son has always been telling me about how iron and how difficult it is to climb, and how when you're in the low elo grind, it's hilarious at times. And I saw it firsthand, and I found out how funny it was. But I saw myself in a lot of people, whether it was being reported, whether it was learning, about vision, anything, making stupid mistakes as an ADC and having people just flame me and just report me for no reason. My MMR just got dumped so low because I think I was just doing stupid stuff and it was just pissing people off.
Right.
And so I got reported a lot. That's why the Iron Fox jersey has the big report.
Yeah, the exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark on the back of it.
Yeah, well, it's tough, and I absolutely love the idea that people out there have no idea who they're playing with and are just reporting you because they're like, this guy's feeding or won't listen to the pings or whatever.
I didn't even know you. There was a stretch there back in January, February, because when you're a pro, you're doing so much at one time. I mean, you're communicating, you're seeing, you're switching. I've yet to learn how to hit the tab button to actually check out what's going on. Yeah. That's a little next level for me. I just found the space bar at my thumb just to center the screen.
That's helpful. One thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Items I'm now, pretty cool about building certain things. Although I would have never thought building 3 Dorn's blades was like a strat, and then Trick G comes in and is like, oh no, build 3 Dorn's blade and then go Black Cleaver, and I was like, yeah, no one's ever told me that.
Well, he's got a lot of interesting ideas.
I think no one's ever told me that. So why would I? Because I used to double buy item. Well, I used to buy double Berserker Greaves boots. It was like, you can't have to.
Well, you need one for each foot. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes.
There you go. I like it.
Well, that's good. Well, I also am kind of curious. You mentioned the CBS show. I'm sure it's early days. Can you talk much about it?
Yeah. So, television in our world, entertainment world in Hollywood is something I've been doing for 25 years. But getting a TV show sold is an undertaking. It's not an easy thing to do, and it requires the right partners and the right people. And Dan Kopelman, the writer and the creator, showrunner, was gracious enough to sit with me and hear my story of my father-son relationship and how Kyle kind of shepherded me into this world of esports and League of Legends and finding the game, and just the dynamic of a father-son trying to find their bond years after me living on one coast and him living on the other. And yes, we would spend weeks together in the holidays and all that stuff, but a son should have a dad daily.
Yeah.
And he didn't get that due to my basketball career. And so when he moved out to college, I thought I would pick up that day-to-day father experience later on in life. But at that point, he was no longer 10 or 12; he was 18. And
it's a bit different vibe.
I was treating him like he was, 8 or 9 or 10. So that communication created a lot of, adjustment. But I shared that with Dan, and he is he and I, along with Aaron Kaplan and his company, we went to Warner Brothers and pitched them, and they loved the element of the dynamic of the story, and we've been flushing it out. And Dan's been it got picked up and bought. Got bought. So we're in the script stages. It's being written now, be delivered throughout the holidays here. And Dan's been here during All-Star Weekend, taking in.
Yeah, we should say he's off camera right now.
Cameras, taking in the festivities, understanding the world of esports and League of Legends. But as you know, so many people have tried to do esports shows. We've had a lot of unscripted stuff. This is a scripted attempt at a world that we all live in, that we care about, and it's important to me that it's done right. It's important to me that it represents the human side of all of us that are in this community, and especially the pros that, in some cases, you've covered all of these guys.
Right.
You know some of the stories behind their grind to get where they have gotten. Take Double Lift, for example, his true life story. They're real. We are real people with real life challenges and day-to-day relationships, and we're all trying. Look, I'm still trying to grow up. And some of us, which you posted last night. Some of us have relationships.
Posted today, yes.
Some of us have relationships, and relationships bring, a lot of joy to us. But also, you got to learn how to be, a pro and have a relationship. And I'm wishing you those two the best. I know both are two great people.
Well, I'm happy to hear they have your endorsement. I'll let them know as soon as this interview's done. Yes.
Rick Fox.
Yes, exactly. This relationship is approved by Rick Fox.
Yes.
Regardless, though, what steps are you taking to make sure that this show feels true, right? Because I think today, the types of folks that watch esports are pretty, skeptical of scripted television.
Yes.
and cable and all that type of thing. And so how are you, what steps are you and the folks that you're working with taking to make sure that this doesn't turn into, something that feels inauthentic?
Yes. Putting authenticity at the forefront, right? Making sure that the people associated with the creation of this are in the conversation with people like yourself, and talking and feeling it and being here, and understanding that, yes, we are covering it from the game as the backdrop. The esports world is the backdrop of this show, but it is also about these people. And who are these people? When we talk about the people that are our friends, our coworkers in this space, they are amazing people, and they're not to be laughed at. Now, we laugh at each other.
Right.
Because we're of each other. We know each other. We know when others laugh at us, that doesn't feel good, right? So we're not subscribing to that, right? Now, we can laugh at other people that don't get what they're missing here, right? That don't know it, that are late to the party. So we're going to constantly be tuning and watching that. And as a community, I want that input. Yeah. I want that criticism coming, because I feel like it's my responsibility, and it is, to make sure that if there is going to be a show, that it is a show that really represents us.
Yeah. LCS kicks off in about a month, a little bit over a month. When are we going to see you back in the audience again?
Yeah.
I know you won't have a team there, but I feel like you've become a bit of a staple at the studio.
Yeah, no, I have to. It's, where I live from the studio, I'm blessed because I can walk there.
Wow.
It's literally like, 4-mile walk. It's not bad at all. I used to do it during the relegation tournaments.
Yeah.
just to calm down, I would walk there. But then some days, just to get a workout in, I would walk to the weekend games and walk home. It's a lot more enjoyable walking home after a win, but it would also allow me to calm down.
Yes.
So I will be there for sure. It is. I love it. I hope I have some access still. But I'll tell you what's great about LCS employees that work the arena. They do not play favoritisms. They do not play favoritism.
Yes, that's true.
As an owner, I would show up to enter the studio, and it didn't matter if I was Rick Fox or whatever. They were like, "Can we see your badge?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, but the game's getting ready to start. It's pick band." Like I was in the car, like, "I'm sorry, you can't come in, sir."
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you know what? I respect that. You're doing your job.
Probably a bit different from your NBA days, I assume.
Yes,
I assume you maybe didn't need the identification shown at the gate to get in.
You know what happened? All of this is changing. I get people calling me Robert Ory now and Reggie Theus, and these are names you guys may not have ever heard before, and Tony Gonzalez. So I'm kind of blending into one former athlete that everyone might love, but they just want to meet, and they don't know if I'm that, but they're just going to project
recognizable,
it onto me.
Well, speaking of changing, I mean, you changed your hair color recently. I don't know if it's if you've been able to move on from that yet.
Yes, a little bit. It's starting to wash out, which is good. But the pure gold thing during the stream was a little shocking for me because I've never dyed my hair any color. But blue and red on the pole was really, really trending pretty hard.
Yeah.
Someone came in and helped me get to a reasonable color.
Yes.
And so now I got to just hope it gets out completely.
Well, maybe the gold will act as encouragement for you as you're on your path up the ladder. You know, gold is on the horizon.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I should just keep it.
Yeah, exactly. You look at it and then you're like, that's the goal for this year. Or something.
Although a lot of people think that the bronze Fox jersey that we put up there, that if you go get it and support it, the funds go to the Bahamas Relief Foundation, is because I'm quote unquote bronze and I'm Fox.
Yes,
So it's like, no, that's actually my rank.
Yes, gotcha. Well, hey, I thank you so much for coming in and sitting down with me and coordinating your very busy schedule to do this, and just hearing about how committed you are to staying in league and playing the game and being involved and promoting it publicly, I think is fantastic.
Thank you, Travis.
I'll ask you the question I ask everyone, and we've talked about this before. You said you don't really get this question in traditional sports, but is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
I'm going to do this without trying to get too emotional, because it's the first time I'm getting to talk to you through this vehicle, which I know so many of you follow and tune into religiously. And speaking of religion, it takes a lot of faith in life sometimes to get through a lot of really tough times. And in every moment that you find yourself in life, in situations that you wish would just pass, have faith. Have faith that it will, if you surround yourself and anchor yourself in the people in your life that are good. And all of you out there have been really good to me. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you so much, Rick, for sitting down with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage right here on my channel. Hello. Thanks so much for watching that interview. I don't want to reveal too much, but the Gaffys are going to have some great award winners this year, and this M15 might be one of them. You can get this actually right now over at alienware.com/lol esports. There's a link in the video description below. And the cool thing about this one that they're giving away, actually, I should say they're giving away 4 of them, it's got this cool custom All-Stars wrap. You might have seen it on the broadcast. Either way, between now and December 15th, go check it out, sign up. You're going to love this thing. It's an award-winning machine. I'm going to say that right now because it's going to win something at the Gaffys. Pretty confident. I know some people over there. Again, link in the video description.